A few hours after NBA YoungBoy apologized to Future on Instagram Live with Offset, he declared war on Atlanta with a diss track dedicated, in his own words, to the whole Ho Atlanta. Apology to war in under 24 hours. That's the story. To understand it, you have to walk through July 10th, 2026, hour by hour, because the whole thing played out in less than a day. It started with damage control. In the days before, YoungBoy had reactivated his Instagram and gone on a rant hitting several targets, including Blueface's mother, and in the middle of it, a line fans read as a shot at Future. So on July 10th, he joined Offset on Instagram Live to clean it up. He acknowledged crashing out, thanked Offset for the advice, and apologized to Future and Carissa Saffold by name. "I gotta stop letting some others say stuff hurt me," he told Offset, adding, "You right though, and I thank you for that. I'ma apologize to you, and I apologize to them too." By the middle of the day, the record showed a man who admitted he flipped out, owned it, and closed the chapter. Fans took it at face value. Then came the reversal. In hours, not days. That night, Future's album The Real Me was set to drop. YoungBoy posted freestyle raps to his Instagram stories aimed at an unnamed artist releasing music that evening. Lines like, "You better not flop tonight," and "You old ass," aimed at someone he never named. He didn't have to. Only one artist of that stature had an album dropping that night, and the words "old" and "flop" pointed one direction. Then came the third step, the track itself. What dropped with a caption, "In honor to the whole Ho Atlanta." Not one rapper, the whole city. That caption is the actual declaration of war. A shot at Future is a beef between two men. A dedication to Ho Atlanta pulls in the city that produced Gucci Mane, Lil Baby, and 21 Savage, names YoungBoy has gone at before. One caption turned a one-on-one problem into a one versus city problem. So that's the full July 10th sequence. A rant, an apology for the rant, a set of stories that undid the apology, and a track that turned the whole thing into a regional attack, all inside 24 hours. Inside the track itself, the evidence stacks up fast. The most quoted line, "I want to go bezel for bezel, I want to go hit after hit, I want to go million for million," is a direct itemized challenge, watches against watches, records against records. Then comes the menace, "I'm a villain, gonna catch you when you're down bad." And there's that word again, old, resurfacing from the story's rant onto wax. That's not a coincidence, that's a through line. The track reportedly references free bands, a pointed nod to Future's own label, alongside jabs at an old-ass artist who flopped. Free bands isn't a word you stumble into by accident. Every arrow on the map points to Pluto. But the caption is what makes this bigger than a Future diss. Without it, this is a personal grievance. With it, it's a territorial statement, Baton Rouge grit against Atlanta's polished trap empire. This is the city that birthed trap music, the city of Gucci Mane, the Migos, Lil Baby, and 21 Savage, a sound that colonized global pop for a decade. Calling it Ho Atlanta isn't a jab, it's sacrilege, and YoungBoy knows exactly what he's doing. None of this came from nowhere. This is actually the third chapter of a fight that's been building for years. Go back to 2022's I Hate YoungBoy, a scorched earth track that named Lil Baby, 21 Savage, and Gucci Mane directly. A Baton Rouge outsider walking into hip-hop's most powerful regional scene and spraying names like a roll call. That track set the template what now follows. Don't pick one target, indict the whole ecosystem. But the relationship was never pure hostility, which is exactly what makes it so combustible. YoungBoy collaborated with Atlanta artists early on, including features with Future himself, before things curdled into subliminals and silence. Then came 2025, and one of the strangest nights in recent hip-hop memory. During his tour stop in Atlanta, YoungBoy received what looked like an onstage honor from the city, a proclamation many read as a key to the city. What did he do with that goodwill? He performed I Hate YoungBoy, the same track that torched Atlanta's biggest names, right there on the city's own stage. The fallout was immediate. Atlanta officials later denied any key to the city had actually been given, and his second Atlanta show on that tour got canceled. The city extended an olive branch, he set it on fire on stage, and the city pretended the branch never existed. When YoungBoy typed Ho Atlanta in July 2026, he wasn't improvising an insult. He was reopening a wound neither side had ever treated. Which brings up the real question. Atlanta has a dozen viable targets. Lil Baby, 21 Savage, Gucci Mane, all previous names on his list. So why did the crosshairs land on Future of all people, the one Atlanta giant famously known for staying out of everybody's beef? That's what genuinely baffled people watching this unfold. Future by reputation simply doesn't do rap beef. The two men had history as collaborators, not enemies, and Future's headlines are a very specific genre. Never war with another rapper, almost always something about a relationship. That reputation is exactly why some observers initially urged caution about whether YoungBoy was even aiming at him, because historically, when YoungBoy has a problem with someone, he says the name. He didn't this time. But what erased the ambiguity? The free band's references, the old-ass language, the flop talk timed to an album release. He may not have spelled the name, but he drew the map. Follow the calendar and the reasoning gets clearer. Future was in the middle of promoting The Real Me, and YoungBoy's Better Not Flop Tonight stories landed the exact night it dropped. That's not coincidence, that's strategy. Parking a diss in the middle of a rival's rollout hijacks the news cycle and forces every conversation about the album to also be a conversation about YoungBoy. In an algorithm-driven industry, that's controversy engineered as content. There's also a generational angle. Future, in his 40s, represents the bridge between Atlanta's trap founders and its current stars. YoungBoy, in his mid-20s, is streaming dominant and hungry to be recognized as the era's defining force. Calling him old is generational work, framing Future as yesterday and himself as right now. But there's a third explanation, and it's the most human one. This whiplash is simply how YoungBoy's emotional engine runs. On that same live with Offset mid-apology, he said, "I gotta let that go." Hours later, he clearly didn't. That's not necessarily hypocrisy. YoungBoy has been open about bipolar disorder and emotional struggles, and his entire artistic appeal is built on volatility that swings from vulnerability to aggression inside a single verse. Whether this flip was impulsive or calculated, the result is the same. The most beef-averse superstar in Atlanta just got dragged into a war he never asked for on his own album night. The reaction split cleanly down the middle. YoungBoy's loyal fanbase hailed the track as him walking down Atlanta again, celebrating the audacity of an outsider calling out a complacent empire. Future's defenders and Atlanta loyalists dismissed it as relevance-chasing dressed up as war, pointing out that a man who apologized in the morning and attacked by nightfall isn't a general, he's a live wire. The industry itself has stayed mostly quiet, letting outlets like Hot New Hip Hop, XXL, and Complex run the play-by-play instead. So where does this go? Future could respond with a deluxe edition shot, a direct track, or the veteran's favorite weapon, total silence. Given his career-long allergy to rap beef, silence is the safer bet. And against an artist who feeds on engagement, ignoring him might be the sharpest counterpunch available. Atlanta could also answer collectively, since Ho Atlanta insulted the whole city, not just one man. Or, knowing YoungBoy's pattern, there's a real chance of another reflective live and another apology before the cycle resets itself. Here's the uncomfortable truth underneath all of it. Everybody eats. Feuds spike streams, sell merch, move tickets. Expect YoungBoy's numbers to surge and Future's rollout to absorb attention it never asked for. It's the independent grind versus the major label machine, with a David versus Goliath undertone, except this David threw the first stone at the entire kingdom. Zoom out, and what is bigger than one Wild Thursday? It's a snapshot of hip-hop in 2026. Generational torch fights, regional pride still burning, and social media turning every emotional swing into instant global theater. Whether Future answers, Atlanta unites, or YoungBoy apologizes again by the weekend, one thing is already settled. The villain declared his war, and the whole culture is watching the battlefield. So now it's on you. Was this a legitimate declaration of war, or a crash out in real time? Should Future respond or let silence do the work? Drop your thoughts below.